He accuses me of being a pseudo-intellectual and of being arrogant.
Hey Spirit Life, it's Bruce, and I want to do a hot take on the controversy between Dr. William Lane Craig and Ken Ham, two Christians, both of whom I actually really like. I respect both of their ministries, and I think that both of them have done good apologetics. One, Dr. Craig, obviously in the area of more philosophical apologetics. I love how he can produce such really awesome answers to cause atheists to think twice about their position. And his intellectual and academic prowess is not to be trifled with. He's won many a debate just by his intellect and by his God-given talent. And plus, he really loves the Lord. You can tell he's humble, he loves Jesus, he really wants people to know God personally. It's not just an academic, brain-oriented thing. On the other side, Ken Ham, I actually really appreciate. I saw him speak in person one time about how the belief in one race, the belief in all of humanity descending from Adam, really eliminates racism if we believe it. If we take it seriously and we believe that the Bible does portray a literal Adam and Eve, then we're all brothers and sisters of one another, distant cousins, you might say. The way he was able to take the Genesis material and apply it in a practical way, especially appropriate for modern times and all of the political controversy and things that have happened recently, I thought that was really apropos. And I think that he does good apologetics in terms of proving Young Earth, and AnswersInGenesis.com is a great resource in case you want to go and check that out. I happen to be a Young Earth Creationist. I believe that the Earth is only 6 to 10,000 years old or so. I think that when God created Adam, he looked to be 20 or 30, although he was literally 1 day old. And I think similarly that the Earth looked to be whatever, billions of years old, I guess, just based on the appearance of rocks or the dating or the radiometric science behind that. But it was literally just day one old. I think that the trees God created from scratch were full-grown trees. They probably had rings. That wasn't God lying to people and saying, hey, if you were to cut down this tree, it'll look like it went through the seasons of, winter and summer, and that created rings. It's just that's what rings are in a tree. That's what trees have. That's what rocks look like. That's what the earth is. I think that God created the light already fully stretched from point A to point B, and it didn't take billions of years for the light to travel those distances. There's a lot more apologetics that I could get into in a future video. That being said, I think Ken Ham, though I agree with his position, really had a misstep when he created a post recently attacking William Lane Craig personally and not just attacking his position. Maybe he meant well, maybe it just came out wrong, but it really did have poor taste. If you look at his actual quote, he says, "Watch this short video and see William Lane Craig's pseudo-intellectual arrogance that mocks God and his word, and instead exalts the word of fallible, sinful man above God's holy, infallible word." Now, I understand where he's coming from. He's trying to say that if the Bible says God created in 6 days, then that's all we need to know. That's all there is to it. And to say otherwise is mocking the Bible itself. Now, I happen to believe that it was 6 literal days, but to tell another Christian that they're arrogant and they're mocking God, when in actuality they love the Lord, that's number one, not charitable. It's not kind-hearted. It's not how we're supposed to be with other brethren. We're supposed to have unity. We're supposed to have love and charity towards one another. But number two is factually incorrect. William Lane Craig really does love God. So to accuse him is just bad taste. It was poor form. And so William Lane Craig actually came back with a fairly firm response, and I think it was justified. He said, in no way can anyone critique my intellectualism as if it's only pseudo and not actual. And that's true. His scholarship is above par.
And as for arrogance, this is a very, very serious personal charge to make against another Christian, because that's a terrible sin and character fault. The Bible says that God resists the proud, but gives grace to the humble. And if I thought for a moment that I were arrogant and that God was opposing me, I would step down from Christian ministry.
And I thought that was a great answer. And he did deserve to kind of push back against what Ken Ham said. And again, I believe the position that Ken has, but instead of attacking Dr. William Lane Craig's character, he should have just given an apologetic. He should have possibly, pushed back on the scriptures, or pushed back on interpretive stance, or maybe pushed back using science. There are, believe it or not, I know I'm going to get a lot of pushback on this myself, but there are scientific facts that back up evidence for the global flood, the way that it's described in Genesis, evidence for God creating a literal Adam and Eve, and not just being, Neanderthals who grew into more humanoid people or whatever. There's actual evidence for the young earth, but this was the wrong way to go about it. The ad hominem attack is poor form, even in rhetorical fallacies. Make sure to like and subscribe this video, and before I head out, I want to leave you with this concept. I once heard that in Christianity, there are spine issues. In other words, there are issues that are foundational to the very fabric of Christianity. For example, belief in one God. You can't believe that there's multiple gods. That's not Christian, right? Belief that Jesus is the Messiah. These are foundational beliefs that we can't compromise on. To do so would be some other religion. To compromise here would be to say you're not even Christian anymore. But then, in addition to the spine, there are rib issues. Ribs are important. The human body needs our ribs. They're not worth just dismissing. They're worth arguing about and discussing. And when I say the word argue, doing it with charity, doing it with kindness. They're worth debating, discussing, but they're not worth breaking fellowship over. I believe that the issue of the young earth versus old earth is not a spine issue that deserves to be breaking fellowship with other believers who disagree in that area. I believe it's a rib issue. It's important. Maybe it's a really important rib, but it's not worth breaking fellowship. Now, I think someone in the Ken Ham camp might disagree. They might say, if you don't agree with a literal translation of Genesis, then it's a foundational point that you can't really believe all the other foundational truths of the Bible. That's debatable. If someone believes that there's no literal Adam and Eve, it sure makes Romans 5 problematic. And it also makes a lot of Jesus' comments problematic. He believed in a literal Noah's flood. He talked about it. So did Peter and the other apostles who wrote portions of the Bible. They seem to have agreement in literal six-day creationism. So it is problematic. It's a big deal. It's important. It's worth discussing. Is it worth breaking fellowship over? I say no. I will still fellowship with people who are old earth creationists or otherwise, because I think that we can still agree on the foundational truth that Jesus is Lord, and we have room to debate and discuss, and hopefully I'll bring people over to my side. They may, bring up some good points for their side too. But it's not worth breaking fellowship or having ad hominem attacks the way Ken Ham unfortunately did to Dr. William Lane Craig. Hey, if you liked this video, found a little bit of value here, hit the subscribe button. I'm building the channel over this past year and into the new year now. You're going to find more commentary type videos like this one, as well as some of the other content that you're always looking forward to. This is Bruce on Spirit Life.